Hi everyone. Good evening to everyone who has joined today at Protrainy's Through the Lens of Civil Engineer talk show. I am glad to introduce today's guest, Mr. Pavan Kumar BR, who is a seasoned designed structural engineer with a demonstrated history of working in this sector. He is skilled in AutoCAD, SAP 2000, Microsoft Excel, ETABS, STAAD Pro. He is a master's. He has done his master's in technology also, and he has been working with companies like Alcon Consulting Engineers, Larsen and Toubro. Then currently he is associated with Archidis as a senior bridge engineer. Today we will try to understand his career as a structural engineer and with a big focus about his career in bridges and different structures in marine, etc. So that those who are listening today, you may be from your construction background, having a tremendous experience. Some are freshers, some are looking how they can start a career in design, office jobs, and what are the basic skills that are needed, what are the tick marks that are needed in your career to go ahead with. I'm really glad to welcome you again, sir. Thanks for joining, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Biswajit, sir.
Right. So the
Like,
first thing that comes, yes, sir.
mhm.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You talk, sir. No issues.
Yeah, right, sir. So the first thing that comes in my mind, the first question that I generally ask with, and
Mhm.
with all our guests is, how did you choose civil engineering? What made you choose? And that too, you have done your bachelor's and master's in technology related to construction. So how did you end up? Was that a family or other influences that come in your picture, or your love for this? How did you ended up, sir?
Sir, first of all, the civil engineering field is whoever is the civil engineer, they are very lucky, and they will be connected with the people around. They can, if you are a civil engineer with good at buildings, means like if you'll be building many buildings, and you can say physically like I have built this building, and you will be having a satisfaction over there. And like many structures, even iconic bridges and iconic structures like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue, this kind of monumental structures, if you have involved and if you get an opportunity of many infrastructural and works which the country is dependent on, and you will be very happy and satisfied over there, and it makes your life enriching, because if I compare with the software engineers and all, like they cannot show their product to the society like what they have done, and they'll be working with many other MNCs like US based companies or UK based companies. But as a civil engineer, you can contribute to your country as much as you can, and that makes your that what we call passion towards civil engineering, that draws me here as a civil engineer.
Got it, sir. Now, the like when you have done your master, how did you ended up choosing structural as your specialization? Was there anything that you did right in your BTech that led you to choose a master's in this and your career in structures? Because there are a hell lot of other careers you could have chosen in construction.
Yes. When I was doing my BTech, I had an ambition to do structural engineering as my specialization. Why? Because like I was interested in structures. It makes I was interested as a passion. Is the very important thing. I am not saying that structural engineering is the great thing. Even structural, transportation, geotechnical, environmental. um, all these courses which are equally important, construction management, even I respect each and everyone, even from the labor to the top CEO, each and everybody is equally important, and no one is great and no one is to the downgrade here. And you do, you love what to do, and that makes that will take you to greater level.
But now coming to your started, how has been your journey in corporate from the structure
Uh,
side? Now that you are working in bridges, from
yes,
your scratch, what were the sectors in design that you worked upon until now? How has been the journey, sir?
initially I started my career in 2015 August, during my once I completed my what we call course, my project Viva, I got a call from a consultancy called Alcon Consulting Engineers in Bangalore. There I was exposed to design for buildings like hostel buildings, public buildings, especially commercial buildings, and residential buildings as well. There I was exposed to learn about like how to plan, like what are the basic requirements of the plan of a residential building, like what is a vastu is a technical thing, it's not a blind one. Like where and all, like we have to give importance to lighting and ventilation, which corner there should be a kitchen, which corner there should be a bedroom, so that we even it started from our ancestors as well. Like lighting and ventilation makes you healthy to stay in the house and makes you happy. That way I learned the planning part. And when it comes to structural, like we have to start with, like we have to place the column locations important, like from where the forces will start. And column locations should not interfere your functional requirements. Especially, suppose for example, you cannot keep a column at the center of your hall, like what we call the living room. It looks awkward. That way, like you have to keep a columns, and you have to prepare a frame layout first, like we, all columns should connect with the beams. And that way a slab layout, you should have clarity in your mind that how the forces will transfer from parapet wall to the beam, and the slab load will transfer to the beams. The beam load will, sorry, slab loads again, it will transfer to the columns, and subsequently it will transfer to the foundations, and it will transfer to the subsoil. And basically you have to understand the soil conditions. You should have a basic knowledge to read geotechnical report. What is the n value, like how much the soil strength we are having. And based on that, like what type of foundations I have to decide. Like if the foundations are if the soil conditions are good, like if the soil having a good bearing capacity, then we can go for open foundations. Especially in Odisha, and like where I was there in Paradip, it is a sea coastal area. Like you cannot encounter a good soil conditions in the starting shallow foundations itself. Like you have to go for a pile foundation over there. And what type of pile you have to go, like and current practices also very important, like where we are living, what type of bricks the local markets is producing. Like normally here and in Karnataka and all, we will use a conventional red brick. We'll be having a 9-inch thickness of brick. And cement bricks nowadays in many cities like Bhubaneswar, Bangalore, Hyderabad, this Delhi and all, like they are manufacturing 4-inch brick wall, 6-inch brick wall, and 8-inch brick wall. We have to, whoever is a civil engineer, they have to go to the shops and they have to physically go out. They will manufacture what all they have to carry one small tape along with them. Like because I am covering in all the aspects, like not only in design part, like that makes your life easy. And what all the formworks, the standard practice they're having, because we should not give the random sizes whatever you like. um, the standard practices like 18-inch beam, 15-inch beam for residential building. Or else if you go in the large scale projects like 300 mm beam, 450, 600, 750, incremental of 150 we have to give. And such way, like you will be arriving the preliminary dimensions of the buildings. And later on, like you will define the material property, what kind of grade of concrete I have to go through, like the minimum. And you should have a basic knowledge of codes. Codes is not like it is a guidelines, like the who and all will be involving in preparing code books is like the professors, those subject matter experts, the contractors, architects, all together. Those who are having knowledge throughout the India, they will be involving in preparing the code books. That is a set of guidelines we have to go through and understand, like why they are framed, why they are made this way. And suppose the cover, like why they have made a cover for a column is 40 because if the building gets attacked with the fire, um, and what we call the ambulance will take minimum, if the maximum it will take 2 hours to reach the remote areas. In such cases, like the iron should not get burned. If iron gets burned, your building will collapse. By the time ambulance reach, your building should be stable. That way the same logic, each and everything will be framed, and we have to understand, and like why they are made, how, what, why, when. Like we have to discuss with among ourselves and among the people, those who are having knowledge, and those all the people, they are lucky to get trained by the organization like Protrainy. And that is what I can say. That way they can
Well
start
said.
designing. And when it comes to because like you should have a knowledge, like in manually, like manually you can design, that is not an issue. Only thing is like if there are any changes, you will not, you will be having only ample amount of time, only small amount of time to change and modify and give it to the clients and the drawings and all. That is why we use softwares like for buildings especially. We have to go for ETABS. It is very compatible, and it makes your life easy. Whatever softwares it makes your life easy, those softwares will be very popular in the industry. Like people
I
will
have a
be.
question.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt. Like there are
Yeah, no
different
problem.
software. A lot of these professionals or students in construction, they have a confusion that how should we decide which is the apt software in design. So you have a couple of softwares I'll name. Let's say you have
Hmm.
software for STAAD, you have ETABS, you
Okay.
have SAP, you have Tekla. So
Hmm.
how can I decide which are the softwares for what all work they are important, or how can I create my career?
Yes, sir. Basically, like for AutoCAD, the AutoCAD is a very, very basic one. Whoever is a civil engineer, like even if they are into construction management, even if they are into structural, even if they are into geotechnical, they have to learn AutoCAD, like with the basic drawing preparation. Suppose even if you are a MD of the company, at the end of the stage, like if no one is there, the draftsperson, if they went home, if there is any small change in the drawing, you can make a change and you can send it to the client immediately, because the client doesn't require, they will not be knowing like who is changing and who is sending. Like they want ultimately the product. AutoCAD is the very basic thing they have to learn, like each and every civil engineer should learn from scratch. And they can contact people like Protrainy to train them. And especially for when it comes to RCC buildings, ETABS is most widely used software in the world. Why? Because of their the interface, that graphical user interface, and whatever the options which they had given to model the building, to extract the results, to apply the load. It is very simple. Mm, when the software makes your life simple, those softwares only people will use, and those softwares are proven and tested. Uh, that is what the CSI, the company, Computers and
Yeah.
Structures, is the company. It is from there. That is basically from US based company. The ETAPS is started using since 25 years. And next, when it comes to steel buildings and steel connections, trusses, or any kind of the steel buildings, because like we have to model from node to node,
Yeah.
because ETAPS, not ETAPS, the STAAD Pro makes your life easy over there. The STAAD Pro is the steel buildings is very compatible, and you can make the smaller joints over there. Like when we are making a trusses, like the smaller strut elements will come, the compression and elements and diagonal members, and it will be very easier to work with the STAAD Pro. STAAD Pro is a very basical one, like even the like AutoCAD, people have to learn STAAD Pro. Why? Because it is very commonly used in, especially in India. Especially in India, in all the consultants, and even in colleges also, people use STAAD Pro to learn the things. It makes easier for especially for steel buildings. When it this Tekla and what we call Tekla and all, like it is especially for you can steel also, like very large scale industrial buildings. Tekla will makes your life easy. And nowadays, like people are mm, more concentrating on BIM, building engineering modeling. Why? Because like they can see the everything's in 3D modeling. Like
Yeah.
The visualization they can see. And suppose especially in steel structures, and how the bolts are getting connected, how the base plate it is getting connected, these connection details, like they wanted to visualize, like whether it is hitting any member, the such kind of clashes they wanted to understand from what we call the BIM modeling. BIM modeling you can do from AutoCAD, and many other softwares are there like for BIM modeling. And nowadays, what they have done, suppose if there any column member it is getting connected to any beams or trusses members, there'll be a scanner. If they scan the member, the engineer, the site engineer, he can easily understand the drawing, the how the bolts are getting seated, how the base plate is getting seated, how the weld should be, and it makes the process easy, and it saves your much time in designing as well as your construction, and you can hand over the ultimate product to the client in the easiest way.
Got it. Now, when you try to understand this, my
Mhm.
one concern is that you've started your career into RCC buildings or
Yes.
buildings per se. How did you now, this 4, 5, 7 years of your entire transition into design from maybe buildings to now bridges? How has been this transition, and how anyone
Yes,
who is looking to transition? A lot of
yes,
people,
yes.
when they come to Protrainy, they have this question that how can I transition my career to a bridge design? What would
Okay.
be your suggestion?
I'll let you know. Like even when I was at Alcon, like I was exposed to. It's a small consultancy firm in Bangalore. Like we were involved. Our clients was government authorities like Bangalore, Bruhat Bangalore Municipality Corporation, and the Bangalore Development Authority, and the irrigational departments of Karnataka, PWD departments of Karnataka. There, I was exposed to structures like small bridges and box culverts, earth retaining structures like retaining walls, this kind of structure, and the stormwater drains as well. These kind of structures I was exposed. So I was glad to know that what all these structures are, like how the forces will come, what all things will come. Such way I was exposed. And the thing is, like, if even if they're wanted to transit from building to the bridges, it is easy. It is not that rocket science. Anybody can learn, and they have an access to reach Protrainy, and they can learn from you guys. Like they wanted to understand the what are the components of bridges. Like suppose the components of bridges, I'll just say the deck slab. The deck slab is a slab where the vehicle moves. Like they can be made with the normal RCC slab and I girder, which they can use many
Yeah.
other kind of superstructure, like even RCC I girder, PSC I girder. PSC means post tension. Why people will, I'll come to post tension later. And cable stayed bridges, suspension bridges, and many other type of superstructures will come. And in the superstructure as well, like the crash barrier, like when the vehicles are moving, when the vehicle hits the crash barrier, the crash barrier should be sufficient strong enough that the vehicle should not fall off from the bridge. That should be strong enough. And next, when it comes to rails will be there, like to save the what we call the material in the crash barriers. And if it is within the city, if it is provided for the people to access, like it is called as a parapet wall. And and top of that deck, there'll be wearing course. The wearing course, like so that the wear and tear will happen due to the movement of the vehicles, so that the deck slab, the rebar, and the concrete should not get exposed to the direct sun. That way wearing course should be laid. And
How did you did the transition in, like, from buildings? How did you, like, did you face any
sir, yes, yes,
extra
like
learnings that you had to do, any courses
yes,
that
yes,
you have to
yes,
do, or
yeah,
like any
yes, yes.
software that you have to learn new?
Yes, like the transition, like I wanted to become bridge engineer anyhow. Like the transition, it happened because like I self learned through YouTube. Many other videos are there. So from the YouTube, you can learn like how to model the bridge, what are the components of the bridges, how bridges are important. Because the bridge, whoever is a bridge engineer, they will be knowing, having a knowledge of structural engineering, traffic engineering, hydraulics when it comes to river bridges and hydraulics and geotechnical anyway they'll be having, and they'll be very proud. Other than the buildings, whoever is a bridge engineer, I self learned through YouTube videos and through my peer groups in LinkedIn, through Quora.
Yeah.
There are many, whatever the questions you can say, and some training institutes will be there to learn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the code books, what are the basic code books which is required to learn bridges, the code books I have read. And the Midas Civil which we use for the design of the bridge, especially Midas Civil is very compatible and it is universally used software, because currently I'm working for the project in UK. and
Okay.
in earlier company in SMEC GDC, the Snowy Mountains Engineering Company, I was working for projects in Australia and Middle East. And earlier when I was in with L&T, I was working for India only. Like in all the multinational companies, they are using a software called Midas Civil. There, uh, like um, they will be mentioning like how to model the bridge, and what are the material properties we have to go through, and what are the sectional properties, and how to there will be the standard vehicles will be there, no, in the Indian codes, IRC class A load, like all these loads are hypothetical loads. Hypothetical means like it is all imaginary. We cannot say that what are the trucks and all buses and the heavy vehicles which they are using, the loads will be much lower than that. But all the experiments will be done, and the bridge engineer attracted me more. Like that is why I put more effort in learning the things, and that is how the transition happened.
Got it. You have also, like, when we were discussing pre this event, that in the same project we have worked, like maybe we have not met,
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
at the Paradip port at JSW projects that you have worked,
Ye-
how
yes,
do
yes,
you see the challenges that you see in a marine project to a maybe a riverine project that you might have
yes,
encountered or something like
yes,
that? How
yes.
do you see marine projects to a riverine kind of a project?
I'll just tell you, when I joined L&T, like in 2018 December, my project manager, my reporting manager, my engineering manager told me that you are supposed to go to Paradip anytime. And he briefly explained that about the project. The JSW was our client, and they are very premier
Yeah.
client to L&T. And earlier we were a part of iron ore import and export terminal,
Anyway,
what we call ASSIOT. And there
I
we
was
had a
part of
very
it.
good experience. Yes, yes, we had a very good experience. And this now, like when I joined, I was a part of coal or import and export terminal. It was like a, and the major thing is like all the coals, it will when it comes to wagons and the rail bogies, they have to dump it to the what we call the track upper complex. The
Yeah.
underneath they'll open and they will, I'll just brief them that what is the project is about. And when they dump the material, like, and it'll all the coal will go in the conveyors, and it will get dump it into the ship directly, so that there will be no manual labor is involved. And like the challenges in the sense, the location of a track upper complex, it keep on shifted. Ultimately
Yeah.
they had given the client had the what you call Paradip Port Trust, they had given very challenging location. It was just next to main road, that was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
yes, yes, that was the
That
main
Nehru
access.
Bangla Road.
Yes, at Nehru Mangla Road. That was the main access for all the trucks for the wagon movement. And next to that road, around 20 to 30 meters, there is a river. Mahanadi River is a famous
Yes.
river in Chhattisgarh and Odisha. It is
Odisha.
joining sea over there, and it is a huge river. When we were supposed to excavate 20 meters deep, like the construction methodology, like I was a part of construction methodology team. Whatever the works comes, you should have a clarity in your mind that what all materials are required, what all construction equipments are required, cranes, crawler crane or mobile crane, and how the excavators for a particular work, those things are required, and how to do the work. That is a soft soil. When you are going for a temporary retention system, we call it as a sheet pile, like because that is a soft
Yeah.
file. You can drive a sheet pile, and we will be having analysis like based on the soil testing reports. Our geotechnical team will be having an analysis like with which vibro hammer, you can drive a sheet pile, what type of sheet pile is required, based on the lateral pressure. And we have driven a sheet pile throughout the periphery, and the 20-meter, the deepest portion was there, and it was supported with a strutting level at each level. Like you will excavate for 2 meters, and you will insert a valor beams and strut beams, and again you will insert brackets, and you will go down subsequently. Such way the construction will happen. Once you reach the deeper level, because we have inserted bore wells, so that you are supposed to extract water, so that the water pressure exerting on the temporary sheet pile should be lesser. That way we have inserted bore wells, and even though we have inserted many bore wells, we were encountering many issues. Like the moment I reached site, I not allowed any of the labor to enter the deepest portion. I used to inspect like all the whether all the welds are properly in the right place, and any other what we call welds to be taken care, any other solutions to be taken care. That way I used to go down, and I used to hear very huge sounds in sometimes, like the welds getting broken. If all the structure is safe, then only I used to allow the laborers to go in for work. Such way it was
It is
very very
challenging.
challenging. And the Orissa is like the rain, like you cannot expect when it will rain. Immediately there will be hot sun, and next half an hour it will downpour.
Yeah.
And like the tunnel portion, whatever we excavate, it used to redeposit again. Such
Yes.
way, like with the help of 250-ton crawler crane and a bucket system, we excavated down there. And doing even the construction of all the pile foundation was done from top itself. Like piling rigs were there. Like people, it is very very interesting to see, come to site and open your eyes and see like what all instruments we are using, what all equipments we are using, like piling rig. Because we require a lot of time to speak about like one particular topic. Piling rig, how they will bring, and what type of piling rigs will be there, what day we have to go. There are many things to learn. Whoever gets an opportunity in and around Odisha, like there are many projects are going on, infrastructure projects. Open your eyes, like you can
So
encounter such
this is,
things.
I think this is something that has been listened by across the
Yes, yes,
nation. Because
and
of listening.
yes, yes. The people of Odisha, like the Paradip port is a very big port, and it was my dream, like to see the ships, how they will land the ships, how they will park the ships, and how the berth will be, and what the berth. You have to understand, like on what foundation it will stand, and what all the things it will be there.
I think one
That
of
is
our
a very
guests today, so I'll sorry to interrupt. One of our guests who is live with us, Mr. Srikant
okay,
Das, he was with
okay,
L&T even because I've also worked on. When you say
okay,
sheet piles, it is the most closest thing that because permanent sheet piles in both the berths in IOIT and PEQ CTPL, both I was overseeing. Once the concreting
okay.
started, then Mr. Deepak, you had interacted with him, but sheet pile, I was the person who was taking care of the permanent
Yes,
sheet
yes,
piles. So it
yes,
is
yes,
very
yes,
close. Shrikant ji was also there with us. So he was been asking,
yes.
he's also asking, I don't know whether you can see it or not, that whether you are still
Okay.
part. But Shrikant ji he has now moved out. He has moved out from L&T. Now he is working in another
With
firm.
the arcades.
He is currently with Architects. Yeah, so let us continue. So it was
Like
great. It was positive.
yes, yes, even like the construction of berth, the extension of berth, what you call coal
Yeah,
berth, uh,
yes,
30
challenging.
33, yes, it's challenging, 33-meter length of steel pile. It was bought from all
Yeah,
the way
great.
from Singapore. Your
I
JSW
have
only
been, I've
provided the
been,
all the material.
yes,
Yes, yes,
I've
yes,
been to Malaysia. I've been
yes.
to Malaysia for one of the sheet piles, the attachment. So
Uh,
it was an AZ.
uh,
This was
yeah, yes,
circular
yes,
between you of that AZ, and
yes, yes, yes,
so it was a different. Every of these piles had an attachment at the circular pile
yes,
extension both the sides, so
yes,
that
yes. And
it's very close.
it's a dream for every civil engineer, like or a structural engineer, like to see how they will lift the 33-meter
Yeah.
huge pile and how they will drop it inside the sea. And the Paradip Sea is not that calm sea. It is a very rough in situations like typhoon. I was in that what we call guest house. It was near to sea. Like the
Yeah.
typhoon happened. Like the wind was blowing towards the sea. If the other way around, we would have been gone. All the trees were uprooted. Paradip is a place, such a place. It is very dangerous for people to live. Also, like sometimes we have to be very
Got it.
cautious. Like
Got it, sir.
what
Now,
what is up?
yes, sir. So now we understood, sir. It is a really now as we are nearing our completion, we want to understand about your experience with Archimedes, the projects majorly on the rail, the bridges that you have worked on, maybe the PSC bridges or bridges on the RCC and etc. What has been all
Yes,
those
yes.
bridges?
Like I'll quickly brief like bridges, like deck slab will be there, and below that there'll be a bearing. The bearing, like what sort of bearing should be provided, and there'll be pedestal. Like the bearings will be seated on the pedestal. All the loads, which is from the superstructure, like vehicular load, and movement of the people in the parapet, and the dead load of the structure, all it will getting transferred from superstructure to the bearing. From bearing, why bearings are provided? In order to observe the friction, that vibration due to the movement of the vehicles. That is why bearings are provided. And to in order to support the bearing, there will be pedestals so that the levels will be maintained. And below that, there will be pier cap, pier, pile cap, pile. If it is if it is an open foundation, the piles will be eliminated. And subsequently, at the end of the bridge, there will be an abutment. Abutment will support the vertical loads as well as the lateral forces as well from the soil. And there'll be wing wall if it is a riverine bridge, and if it is an height and elevation, and the return walls should be used to retain the soils and all. These are the components of the bridges, like we will encounter. And in superstructure as well, like up to span 15 meters, we can go for RCC bridge. The RCC bridge, in case of within the cities, you can provide a formwork over there. Like we can cast like the deck slab and the beam and a single shot, and you can do the works. PSC bridges, it makes your, like it saves your time, because like if there is any space constraint in the cities, and if there is any river bridge, because you cannot provide formwork from the underneath, it will be very costly. You can cast all the eye girders and the box girder from the your casting yard. You can start bringing from there, and you can start assembling here. And such way, like you can save your time and all. Such things will happen, save your time and your cost as well. And you can hand over the project to the client in a faster phase. And in order to work, in order to do the piling in riverine mode and marine mode, I was a part of construction methods. Like there are many methods, like you can do the piling in through barges
Yes.
as well, and what we call piling gantries as well, if the water depth is lesser. Such way, there are many other methods for doing piling. These are the two methods for doing piling in riverine mode or marine mode. Working in a riverine mode and marine mode is very challenging. And it's a whoever works there, and they will be very lucky, and they will be, they will survive anywhere, and if they go. Such way it is. Such way the foundations will be built. All the superstructure will be made into precast segments. Precast PSC will be very faster mode, and it is the future as well. The why precast will be used? Because the tendons, when you pull the tendons, it will make the beam hog. It will bend the beam in this fashion, so that whatever the loads which you apply, it will start going to the normal location, normal position. So that the concrete strength of along with the steel, it will comes into picture. That is why precast is most popular on this earth. And this will be still there for many years to go. That
Right.
way I can say. Like in any way, like even if you go for what we call deck construction, you can make all the troughs. Like once you do the pile foundation, you can keep a precast troughs there, by using a crane. By keeping a crane little bit away, you can start keep placing it by using some pontoons will be there, steel pontoons, so that people can access there and they can go there and they can weld some temporary bracings and all. Because of the wave action, all the piles should get distorted.
Yeah.
That we can make it on precast beams they can place. Subsequently they can cast the deck slab over there, and it's not a rocket science. They can start learning from many others. Google, they can learn many things from the Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, Quora, the institutes like Protrainy, and people, those who are having very good knowledge like you in the industry. And they have to discuss with all the people, because there are, if I say that I am more intelligent, they are the most dumb people I can say. Every day you can learn many things, and many upgradation we have to do, and many things like we
Yeah.
can learn from, even from Mason as well. That is what I can say.
Right, sir. Right. So,
Okay.
I think it has been a. I think we are just overshooting or nearing around time. It has been a
Okay.
great experience hearing from you that what has been the experience as a bridge engineer, what has been experience as a building designer, and also marine projects that you have overseen or being a part of the team. Any final notes that you want to share across to those people who are aspiring to work in a design sector, that too in bridges? Any short final notes that
Like
you want to share across?
one thing I can say: keep updating yourself, keep learning, keep join like institutes like Indian Institute of Engineers. There'll be many
Yeah, chapters.
knowledgeable people over there. Yes, yes. Because if you are a student, there'll be very less fees to join over there. Professional body that is governed by President of India is the president over there, like for this IEI body, and many other journals, and there'll be seminars will be happening, and there'll be one more local bodies will be there, like Institution of Engineers, Institution of Civil Engineers, architect body, and construction body, like many other. And even for bridges also, in Indian Institute of Bridge Engineers is there, that is a
Yes,
governing body.
yes.
So that we will be get connected to the people, and suppose if I'm sitting in Bangalore, I connected with you people, those who are sitting in Bhubaneswar, and that way the things works on internet nowadays. We can get connected with whoever sitting in UK or US. You can keep learning, and start asking questions, make good friends. That makes your life easy. That is what I can say.
Right, right. It's glad that you have
Help each other.
given us
Yes,
that
yes.
time.
Okay, thank you.
Glad that you were able to give us some time and also a deep uh, expertise. Obviously, it would have certainly helped all our listeners today and all the viewers who had been today. And for everything else, for upskilling needs, people and engineers in construction, they can reach out to us at Protrainy website or phone numbers that you can check out there. For any upskilling needs, you can always count on Protrainy. Protrainy is an IIM Ahmedabad ventures backed startup that has upskilled more than 16,000 construction professionals from 700 plus company. The phone number is displayed in front of you. You can WhatsApp us for more details. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great evening. Good night. Good night, sir. Thank you. I
Thank you so
really
much, sir.
appreciate your
Thank you.
time today, sir.
Thank you,
It
sir.
was a
Thank you so
great
much. Thank you
and
all.
most. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you so much. Okay, sure, sir.